It is time now for your Sunrise Smart Start. One man was sent to the hospital after he was found bleeding from the head late last night. Rochester police responding to Central Park and 3rd Street around 11:30 last night. Officers say a man in his 30s was found with a head injury. The cause of the injury is still under investigation, but police did say the man was not shot. He is currently being treated for what are described as non-life-threatening injuries. Now for our continuing coverage of Back to School, the first day of school in the Rochester City School District will now be a day late because of a shortage of bus drivers. With no finalized plan to get thousands of students back to the classroom this week, the district held an emergency meeting last night for parents to ask questions and offer possible solutions. Multiple schools are impacted here, including Edison, Northwest, Northeast, Early College, and Leadership Academy. And there's also no coverage for 14 other bus routes and 32 for special education. The superintendent says a possible solution could involve utilizing the regional transit service.
On Friday, I received a call from the governor's office and the state education department to see if we could provide additional help. I was able to assure the superintendent last night that we are able to cover the schools that don't have coverage. We are putting the schedule together to make sure that that knits together.
Another meeting is scheduled, we're told, for 6 o'clock tonight to come up with other possible solutions. The first day for the district right now is scheduled for Thursday. We will continue to follow any new developments there. Well, the return to school can be a stressful time for students as they deal with a new year, new guidelines, and so many other issues. Carmela Boykin spoke with an expert about mental health and joins us live with some advice. Good morning, Carmela.
Good morning, Leah. There are a lot of shifts that happen in the transition between summer and the new semester. And I spoke with Dr. Susan McDaniel of URMC, who says a key to success is preparing for the transition. This includes practicing back-to-school routines before the first day, visiting schools ahead of time if possible, and even looking up teachers' pictures for younger students. But one of the best ways is through open conversations about student concerns.
Reassure them that they have the ability to cope and can identify people they can talk to, their teacher, their school counselor, a trusted adult who they can talk to if they are having difficulty.
And Dr. McDaniel says because many students have been out of the classroom for up to 18 months, to expect there's going to be a longer transition than usual. But patience, taking care of one's body, and open communication can all greatly help. Reporting in Rochester, Carmela Boykin, News 8. Leah?
All right, Carmela, thank you so much. And doctors also say taking care of your physical health, including watching what you eat, and your quality of sleep can help a great deal as well. Well, as the school year begins this week for many, it comes with an uptick in COVID cases. About 4,500 new cases reported across New York at last update. Over 2,000 people are in the hospital in the state, with 516 in the ICU. State health officials say 380,000 vaccine doses were given out just last week. The New York State Department of Labor is offering residents free resources to help them transition back to the workforce. The programs focus on helping explore new careers, improve their resume, and prepare for interviews. It's also offering information on career fairs and training programs and helping employers avoid layoffs by providing workers some unemployment benefits while they work part-time. You can find more information about all of this at jobzone.ny.gov. On this Labor Day, the $300 weekly pandemic jobless benefit boost for millions of Americans ends. The federal eviction moratorium already expired, but is still in effect here in New York. Other assistance, including rental aid and the expanded child tax credit, are still available. Time now is 6:50, 57 degrees. Christine Gregory tracking some showers on this Labor Day, but not a washout.
Yeah, not a washout for today, but we are seeing some rain moving through, some with some heavier downpours too. Live view over Rochester, though, really just a nice live camera shot with some sunshine trying to peek through the clouds. That's not the case for everybody, though. Again, temperatures are in the upper 50s, so it is a little bit cooler, but we're humid. We've got a lot of moisture in the air, and we are tracking showers. We've got one heavier shower tracking through northwest Monroe County, Orleans County. We've got a decent line of some showers that will work their way through much of the region, I think, throughout the next hour or two. Some of them could be a little bit gusty with some lightning, but for the most part, I think by the afternoon we will see less rain rain and a little bit more sunshine too, and temperatures making their way back into the low 70s. So a little bit of a cooler Labor Day with some rain, but it's not going to be a washout, Leah.
All right, Christine, thank you so much. Taking a live look at the roadways, light traffic at this hour, 390, 490, 590, and the thruway all running on time. Rochester police are searching for a suspect after a man was shot and killed early Sunday morning. This happened on Avenue A around 9 o'clock. Police say the man was sitting in a chair on the sidewalk when he was shot. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officials say it's upsetting to see this prolonged trend of violence continue.
Yeah, it's been terrible. We're at 53, 54 homicides so far this year. I think we're pushing almost 300 people shot. The increase in violence is terrible. We as a community need to come together and find the solutions to try to cease some of this violence.
No suspects are in custody. If you have any information, police are asking you to please call 911. A man is being charged with robbery and grand larceny after several local stores were robbed in Rochester and Greece. 44-year-old Joseph J. Smith was arrested by Rochester and Greece police Saturday. Officials say at least 5 robberies were related. Governor Kathy Hochul is asking President Biden to quickly approve a major disaster declaration following the remnants of Ida. The governor is seeking federal financial relief as recovery efforts continue. According to the state, the funding would include help for emergency protective measures, debris removal, and repairs. The storm is estimated to have caused nearly $50 million in damages. Over a dozen New Yorkers have died from the storm.
So I'm really hoping, as I spoke to President Biden, that we can get immediate approval for what I just signed here now, that we get the extra money flowing to help us build our infrastructure, but not just the infrastructure capital, it's the human capital that needs to be brought back.
The governor is also directing $375 million in previously awarded FEMA funding to improve the state's infrastructure against extreme weather. 4 people are dead, including an infant, after a shooting in Florida. Officials say 33-year-old Brian Riley may have been suffering from delusions when he shot a man, 2 women, and an infant. This is in Lakeland, Florida. Riley is a military vet with no criminal history or connection to the victims. He was taken into custody. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says this is one of the worst cases the department has ever seen.
A lot of tragedy and a lot of sadness. And there's things you can't unsee. I will never be able to unsee that mother with that deceased infant in her arms as they both lay there dead. It is a horror of the utmost magnitude.
Officials also say an 11-year-old girl was shot multiple times but survived. Another massive wildfire breaking out in Northern California over the weekend. This is near the city of Auburn, just east of Sacramento. Park visitors there were evacuated. According to California fire officials, the wildfire has spread 200 acres and is 0% contained. Take a look at this. In New York City, a man had to be rescued after falling 30 feet into a storm drain. This is video of firefighters lifting him out of the water there. According to crews, the man's brother ran for help after the accident and brought them to the scene. They were not sure how long he had been down there, but thankfully they were able to rescue him. Time now for the GRE Morning Business Report. The job market only grew by 235,000 jobs in August. That's according to the Labor Department. The number was much weaker than expected and a sign of the Delta variant's impact, according to officials. Overall, the nation's jobless rate went down to 5.2%. More people hit the road this summer compared to pre-pandemic levels, but AAA stopped short of issuing a forecast for Labor Day weekend. Last week, the CDC advised unvaccinated Americans to avoid travel over the holiday weekend. The government agency says those who are not vaccinated should get a COVID test before and after any essential travel. The global chip shortage continues to hurt car makers. GM says it has to pause production at 8 North American plants over the next 2 weeks. Ford says it has to stop making pickups at a Kansas City plant for the next 2 weeks and will slash production shifts at 2 other plants. The assembly reduction adds to the existing car supply shortage that we've been talking about for quite some time now. Are you going to need the windshield wipers in the car today, right?
Yeah, I
Christine?
think over the next hour or so, all of us are going to get in on at least some form of rain. We've got light rain moving through, even a gusty thunderstorm passing through places well, it's over Lake Ontario right now. Gusty winds, maybe even a water spout possible with this. This will make its way close to Orleans County. We will continue to track it, though, as it does. But once we get to the afternoon, I think we've got a drier pattern, temperatures in the 70s and drier skies too, Leah.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise. Our next update in 30 minutes. CBS This Morning is coming up next.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.